Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Today happens to be World Read Aloud Day. And how could I miss a chance to read something to all of you? I'm going to read a story from The Broken Wing and Other Asian Tales by Belinder Danoa, a NBT publication. Here you go for a story, a Japanese folktale, The Vanishing Rice Straw Coat. Long, long ago, in a far off land of the east, there was a strange village, and the people who lived in it were a strange looking lot. Not one of them had the size or shape of head of a normal man or woman. Some had heads which were bald and long, others were big and round, while yet others were so peculiar looking that it appeared as if they had potatoes growing on their shoulders instead of heads. Moreover, they were renowned for being rather weak witted. One young man among them was a lazy, good for nothing, whom we shall call Otoko. He was always up to mischief and loved to annoy his neighbors. They usually gave him as good as they got, but one day Otoko's mischief landed him in trouble. This happened when the foolish rascal decided to play a trick on a tengu. Now, a tengu is an odd creature. Its name means a long-nosed goblin, and it really does have a rather long nose. On its back it has a pair of feathered wings, and it dresses in a most unusual way. And it has magical powers. Only a very foolish person would ever try to trick a tengu. Well, Otoko was one such person. One day he made a pipe out of a piece of bamboo and wondered what he could do with it. At first, he thought that he would blow stones through it, and then he thought that it would make a fine telescope. He raised it to one eye, and through the corner of the other, he saw a tengu goblin flying towards him. Whoopee! Said Otoko to himself. Let's see if I can trick that tengu into giving me his fine rice straw coat. He began to look through the bamboo with a show of great interest, exclaiming, "Ooh!" and "Ah!" with excitement every now and then. Like all tengus, this little goblin was very curious. He hopped down close to Otoko to see what he was doing. In a squeaky voice, he begged for a peep. "Please, can I see through what you are looking?" "What?" roared Otoko. "Let you look through the telescope that was made especially for me? Never." Then he peered through the pipe again, murmuring, "Ah, what a lovely sight the moon is. Don't you wish you could see it, Mr. Tengu? I can see every plain and valley on it." The poor Tengu was tortured with curiosity. "Please, please," he begged. "Please let me have a peep. For just one peep, you may have my lovely boots or my shiny black hat." "No," replied Otoko rudely. "But maybe I would consider letting you have a peep if you gave me your coat." Before Otoko could change his mind, the silly goblin grabbed the bamboo and thrust the coat into Otoko's hands. Otoko ran off as fast as he could, and the tengu was left wondering whether his eyesight or his wits were weaker, for all he could see through the telescope was a little round patch of blue sky. As soon as he was out of Tengu's sight, Otoko put on the coat. And what do you think happened? Poof! He became invisible. Delighted with himself, he skipped down the road until he came to the village. "What fun I shall have," he thought. "Oh, what joy, what joy!" He had a marvelous time knocking against people, tweaking their noses and frightening them out of what little wits they had. As luck would have it, just at that moment, a proud lord walked down the street, admiring the large ring he was wearing on his little finger. Mm, mm. He had just reached the middle of the street when he felt a violent tweak on his left ear. He turned around angrily and was grabbed by his right ear and swung around in an undignified manner. He whirled around twice and landed with a bump on the ground. What a funny sight it was to see the proud man sitting in the mud. Even the frightened village folk burst out laughing. Pleased with himself, Otoko continued on his way, whistling a merry tune. He had hardly gone a few steps when he saw a workman with a parcel under his arm. Otoko ran up to him and, grabbing the parcel, drew out a pair of bright white socks. Imagine the workman's terror and amazement when his brand new socks were wrenched away from him and went flapping away to land in a muddy puddle. "My socks are possessed! Oh my God, my socks are possessed!" he shrieked and fled down the road. Otoko was delighted with his tricks. He looked around eagerly to see what else he could do. His eyes alighted on the nursery school and he slipped nimbly into the classroom. The teacher had his back to the door and was writing on the blackboard, 2 plus 2. He wrote slowly, and before he could write the answer, Otoko had scrawled 5 on the board. The teacher scratched his head in surprise. The children gazed at the board and then at their hands and then at the board again. Some of them counted on their fingers. "I think the answer is 4, muttered the teacher. "But it says on the blackboard that it's 5. He scratched his head again. Shall I believe what my head says or what I see in black and white? "The answer is 5, the children shouted. "The answer is 5. Otoko whispered in his ear and ran out of the room giggling helplessly. Oh, what confusion he left behind in the classroom. What quarreling and tears followed as the children screamed at each other. "It's 4. No, it's 5. Rubbish, it's 6. One fat little boy held up 2 fingers on each hand and asked, "Well, how many is this?" "It's 8, yelled another boy. "Your fingers are so fat that each one is equal to 2. He stuck out his tongue, and the fat boy screamed in rage. "Ah!" Wicked little Otoko ran off home to take a rest from his wickedness. He took off his coat and decided to take a little nap so that he would be fresh for further adventures in the evening. While he was asleep, his mother came in and saw the rice straw coat hanging on the black chair. "What a dirty coat," she said in disgust. She picked it up and, holding it away from herself, went into the kitchen and pushed the coat into the fire. Otoko was furious when he discovered what his mother had done. Angrily he gathered the ashes and stalked off to a corner of the garden. Once there, he began to rub the ash all over himself. Sure enough, he slowly began to disappear. When nothing of him could be seen, he skipped off towards the village. He could hear laughter and chatter from the hills. The aroma of food reached his nostrils, and his stomach rumbled with hunger. He entered the noisiest inn and waited patiently until everyone had helped themselves to the most delicious smelling soup. Then he crept up and, putting his mouth to the soup tureen, began to drink greedily. The landlord's dog sniffed at him curiously and licked his chin. Everyone turned around to look at the dog that seemed to be licking in the air. They could hear a gurgling sound from somewhere very close to the tureen. Suddenly, a pair of red pouting lips appeared at the tureen. The soup trickled down from the lips, and to the amazement of the watching people, what looked like a chin began to appear below the lips, and then a very, very red nose. "It's a devil!" someone shrieked. "Well, no devil is going to get away with drinking my soup," said the landlord, and picking up a stick, he brandished it under the faceless red nose. Otoko jumped and rushed out with a frightened squawk. Everybody rushed out behind him, the landlord leading the way. Otoko began to sweat as he ran down the road. The result was disastrous. You see, the ash was fine as long as it was dry. But as soon as it got wet, it lost all its magical powers. Soon the flowing Otoko, streaked with sweat, began to look like a half-painted picture. Frightened out of his wits, he began to run faster and faster until he came to the bridge over the stream. He threw himself into the stream, and immediately the people peering over the side saw that their soup-drinking devil was Otoko. Poor wretched Otoko was pulled out and made to tell the story of the rice straw coat. How everybody laughed. "You crazy nitwit," they roared. "Don't you know that you can't play tricks on a tengu? You should keep your nose out of their business. Yours isn't half long enough." The village folk laughed over the incident for days. Poor Otoko stayed at home, hoping that everyone would soon forget. Perhaps they have, but I'm sure that you and I and the tengu will laugh at him for a long time yet. Thank you. Wasn't that a wonderful story now? Thank you all for watching. And do share the story with your family, friends, and anybody who loves to listen to a story. Thank you. But sorry for the noises around. I just couldn't stop myself to wait for a quiet moment because there's lots of construction going on around and the noise is inevitable. See you all. Bye bye.